All right, we're back talking NASCAR as we preview this week's race at Dover, the Monster Mile, the Drydene 400. And I guess if you want to get specific, what is it, DuraMax? DuraMax
yeah.
Drydene 400. Love the logo. You know, usually when I have to go looking for these logos to place on our thumbnails or on the board here, template, it's really hard, and you got to look for the right one, and it's not always so clear. But this one, they've got this really clear, kick-ass logo. First try, awesome, looks great, and maybe we won't have it available anymore.
Yeah, we'll see if Dover returns. There is the word that everybody's wondering, is this it for Dover? And they got bought last fall by SMI, which SMI and NASCAR. SMI owns this group in the tracks. NASCAR owns this group in the tracks. Dover used to be independent. Now they got bought out by SMI. There's a casino on the grounds. And there are just talks of, do they sell the ground, sell it off, use the money. You can use the money, put it into the Nashville Fairgrounds for updates, as you would for the Nashville Super Speedway, and eventually bring NASCAR to Nashville. The short track there.
Put dirt in that track.
Yeah, use that for dirt.
Yeah.
So they're trying to update all that, trying to get that through state down to Tennessee and legislature and all that kind of jazz. But that's been
Are we still doing just one race?
Yep, they're down to one race still. Used to be two, and now it's still one. So that's why a lot of people thought. And let's be honest, Dover has not been the best of races over the years. And
watch it be a kick-ass race this year with a new car.
That would be, or Alex Bowman, who won last year, wins again, because it seems like every race he wins at, they're off the schedule the next year.
Oh, okay. So, he must be real happy about that.
Yeah, he jokes around like he won Fontana, and then COVID hit, and it was off the schedule for basically 2 years, and then he wins Chicago, and they don't come back after that. So it seems like everywhere he wins, they don't come back to. Yeah. So this would fall into the line of him winning, and they don't come back to.
Well, last week we had the leader. We all had Eric Jones. Matter of fact, I would have made back more than half of my balance if Eric Jones had won. So we all would have made money, and instead we all lost money last week. So that was a big bummer. This week, and I don't think this has ever happened, where we all have 4 of the same drivers as far as the top contenders. Do you know who those are?
I have not seen. I don't know yours yet.
Oh, you haven't seen mine yet.
Glanced at CJ's. I don't have. I'm going to say probably. Oh, I'm going to guess Larson.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Byron.
Yes. Don't overthink it.
I want to. Is it Elliott?
Easy.
Okay, it's the 4 Hendrick. I was gonna say, is it all 4 Hendrick? Yeah. I knew the 3 Hendrick made the most sense. Yeah. I'm like, did one of you punt on Elliott? So yeah, it's all 4 Hendrick. Yep.
Come on. Matter of fact, I was actually thinking, really, if it wasn't for Kevin Harvick, I was actually thinking there's a good possibility I might just go with just these 4 drivers.
I thought about
one of them is going to win.
The only reason why I added more was I thought about it. I'm like, well, there's only, out of their odds coming into this, 450, 900, 900,000. There's only been one winner all year with those type of odds. They've all been longer shots.
I mean, the favorite. Yeah, that's the thing. Exactly. Yeah. Kyle Larson at 4-1. That's like.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the only winner below 12-1 all season.
He screws it up. Like, he screws it up.
It does. Yeah. And then you look at some of the longer shots, and it's like Suarez and Custer sitting right.
I know.
50-1 and 100-1, and for their odds and for what they actually have done at Dover, like, well, wait a minute here. And then Harvick for 12-1 for what he's done at Dover. I'm like, this is kind of shaping up to be a Hendrick versus Stewart-Haas versus a Trackhouse race, because I talked about in the last show, Penske struggles, and Gibbs typically have been good there. But they're not good on the season. Do you really think they're just going to turn it around on a track that's a fast mile oval?
No. But then again, it's a new car, so
it is. and you look at their odds are right there behind the Hendrick. I'm like, well, this kind of really shapes up for a favorites or a long shot type of race. And the odds of the season have favored long shot. So I thought the same way. I was like, do I just go all 4 Hendrick cars and not overthink it? Or do I, this season still has proven throw some long shots in.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, that's why I went a little more.
Yeah,
so
Truex was the only other driver that I didn't put in that we might have all had together. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go so heavy on Hendrick. I just don't have enough. I have to choose, and I chose Harvick over Truex basically.
Truex. I thought for 12-1, like this could be a steal if you get the Truex of the past at Dover. He was only 19th last year, and he's got 2 top 5s all season. But since 2014, out of his last 15 starts there, he's got 12 top 10s, 8 top 4s in his last 10. So I'm like, well, which do you get? Do you get that guy, or do you get the guy that finished 19th last year and the guy that has 2 top 5s all season, and one of them is on a super speedway? So
and remember, he was doing all that, most of that, with Cole Pern.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, with his new crew chief, he's not had that success yet. So
now he's getting a new car. Tough. So yeah, that's why it was like, yeah, because if you look at Harvick, 10 top 10s in his last 13, 7 of those are top 5s, including a runner-up and 3 wins. And in his career, he's led over 200 laps 5 times at the track, and he led over 300 laps once. He was 6th last year. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 7 straight top 6s. 2 of them are wins. 4th in both races, 19. 4th and 1st in 2020, and 6th, like you said, 6th last year. It's for 12-1. And a track that, let's be honest, Stewart Haas is up their game in qualifying. We're going to qualify. This is a track position racetrack. That's why I feel like Stewart Haas could be the thorn in Hendrick's side this weekend.
Now, here's interesting, as you said that. 8 of the last 13 winners of this race have started outside the top 4 rows,
which is
including
very
16th
odd.
And 17th in the last 2.
Which is weird. Yeah, it's really weird how that has happened. And if you look at the season too, which this could happen again, the last 2 race winners only led like the final straightaway. And it's like, so which do you get? And then you also look at 6 races this year. This is a good, again, live betting option. 6 races, the race winner, 6 of 10, so 60%, didn't even lead a lap in the first 2 stages. You have another race where they only led 1 lap. So 70% of the races this year, the race winner has led 1 or fewer lap in the first 2 stages. So with the trend of the winners coming from rows 4 on back, it could happen again this week.
Why do you think that is? I mean, has it been strategy? Because it's not supposed to be at Dover. So
no, I don't know. And Dover is a one where it's actually quite the opposite, to where the guys that finish in the stages do win.
You would think.
But on the season, it's been the complete opposite. So we'll see this weekend is going to be that true indicator. It's like, all right, if we see another race where the winner doesn't lead a lap in the first 2 stages, then we're like, okay, this deserves a more attention, a deeper dive of what is going on. Definitely. And why are these guys that are winning not doing anything in the first 2 stages? So trends say one thing, the season's trends say another. So we'll really see this weekend what comes out on top.
All right, out of those 4 Hendrick cars, now look, obviously Larson, it's about making our money back, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because of the 4-1. Okay, so, and he's not at the point where we're going to risk everything on Kyle Larson. That's just not going to happen, especially after what you just said. So, and then you take a look at the odds overall and how much money you guys have invested. I don't see anything major for CJ. He's kind of balanced everything out. You're kind of balanced out as well. But it looks like the guy, well, look, because you've invested the same amount with Byron, Elliott, and Bowman. So give me one of those 3. For me, it's actually Elliott. Who is your top 3 out of the top driver out of those 3?
For Dover?
For this week, correct.
For this week. Honestly, Larson, I'd say Byron.
Byron out of those 3? Out of Byron, Elliott, and Bowman.
Oh, out of Byron, Elliott, and Bowman. Byron and Bowman just has something right now where he's there. Elliott, I feel like a top 10. I'd probably punt on Elliott. just only because I feel like he's a top 10. I don't know if he's got the speed to beat it. If you look at the 4, I just think he's 4 out of 4 with him still. And Byron or Bowman, Byron, he's led the most laps in 4 of the last 6 races on the season. And so I feel like he's got the speed. He may have the faster car out of all the Hendrick cars. And we've seen at Dover dominating performances lately. And I've got it here. I'm going to find it. Okay, if you go back to 2016, we've had 10 straight races at Dover where somebody's led at least 100 laps. And if you look at Byron, has led the most laps in 4 of the last 6, including 3 of them he led over 100 laps at. I just feel like, and he was good at Dover last year.
He's not here, but he hasn't led a ton of laps at Dover yet.
He hasn't led, but it was a track position race these last few years. And that Hendrick was 1, 2, 3, 4 for majority of the day. He just didn't have anything for his teammates. So now I think it's flipped. I think he's got the speed. I almost wonder if this is going to be a race he just goes out. He's a good qualifier, too, if he just goes out and dominates for a while. But in saying that, we've seen the guys dominate early, not win the races.
Well, Larson last year, he finished second, leading 263 laps.
And he got beat on pit road by Bowman, and that's why Bowman led the end. They had no cautions, and he just couldn't catch them, and it was a track position. So that's the only thing I have a little bit of hesitation with Byron. I think he can dominate this race, but can he win? It hasn't happened on the season.
Yeah, see, now I completely understand what you're saying from Elliott. The only reason I went with Elliott this week was because of this is actually one of, if not his best racetrack statistically.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got 4 top 5s left. Yeah.
Boy, he has 8 in 11 races. Top 5s.
And then he's got 5 top 10s his last 6 weeks on the year. So he's there. It's just
he's not leading a lot of laps.
Can he turn the top 10s, the top 5s, and then can he turn the top 5s to wins? I feel like he's in the stage of I need to get these top 10s and get in the top 5, or his teammates are already in the top 5 and they're trying to get. So I just feel like that's the next wall he needs to go through. But maybe this is the week he does. I mean, you're getting him at 9-1 that's pretty good odds for a guy that's got 4 top 5s in his last 6 there.
It might just be a good idea to just go, you know what, I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to go Byron, Bowman, Elliott, and that's it.
Yep, you can win some
good money. Take a couple of long shots like Custer and Suarez, and that's it.
Yep.
And if Larson beats me. I'm not going to worry about it. He's 4-1. He beats me on those odds. He beats me. But if you go Byron, Elliott, Bowman, I mean, I think you have a good chance of winning.
You do, because again with the Hendrick stat and then with the speed, and I mean, the fact that you're getting, like I said, Byron was 2 straight 4th place finishes there. He's led the most laps for the 6 races this season. He's 9-1. You get Elliott 4 top 5s his last 6 at Dover, 5 top 10s last 6 in the year, 9-1. Bowman won this race last year. He's got a top 3 finish in both races in 2019 there, 5th place run in race 2 in 2020, and win last year. 4 top 5s his last 5 there, 5 top 10s his last 6 on the season, 10-1. Those are odds that you typically – these guys should all be 4-1 and 5-1. But the fact where they are is because of Larson. That's a hell of a strategy. Yeah, like, you know what? Like you said, it's the old football, basketball adage. It's like, you know what? If he beats me, he beats me. I'm just going to leave him single covered. If he beats me, then he deserved to beat me. But their money's being made over here. So, yeah, you literally could just punt away Larson like, hey, you know what? If he wins, he wins. But if he doesn't, these are the guys that are going to be there to capitalize, and you can make some money that way.
And I think the reason why some of those odds also stay 9-1, 10-1 is because you still have the drivers like Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, Kevin Harvick, who have good experience here. I mean, even Hamlin's got 8 top 10s in his last 11, 3 of those top 5s. He won in 2020. He was 7th last year. So Vegas is not going to get too crazy on Denny Hamlin just because he's not going well. They're still going to rank him pretty high. So that's why you're getting Truex, Harvick, and Hamlin all at 12-1. So and again, it's tough. I mean, CJ went with all 3. Actually, CJ went with Truex, Blaney, and Logano, which kind of surprised me. You went with Truex and Harvick, and I just went with Harvick.
Yeah, Truex, like we talked about earlier, just you never know what you're going to get out of him. And Harvick, obviously, is there. And I feel like, too, Dover as a track is always the guys that have been fast that season are good there. And you look at 2020, Hamlin and Harvick swept that weekend. Hamlin and Harvick's combined to win 16 races that season. Last year, Hendrick went 1, 2, 3, 4. I would safe to say Hendrick had the fastest cars last year. They were dominant. So this season, I went as who's got the most speed? Hendrick guys. Stuart Haas is kind of hanging out there. Gibbs scared me. Penske is just kind of, I feel like they're the afterthought. That's why I punted on them. And plus, like CJ always has the driver. It's like, why'd you take him?
Yeah.
Like, because I look at Blaney and
Blaney has 2 top 10s in 11 races, and he's led 37 laps. Logano has led
no top 5s ever.
Yeah, no top 5s. Logano has only 41 laps led in 25 races at Dover, even though he has 5 top 10s in his last 6 with 2 top 5s. So fantasy-wise, you take Logano over Blaney.
Yes.
But
Blaney, for 12-1, I thought for a guy with 0 career top 5s, his last 6, not like 4 out of 6, not 3 out of 6, his last 6 visits to Dover, he's finished 12th or worse. He has really not shown much this season, especially pit crew problems.
Yeah.
You got to put the whole pat. It's like, do you really trust that this guy is going to beat the Hendrick camp? If Blaney was like, Blaney should be like 25-1 this week if he really wanted to be fair. But 12-1, I'm like, they feel like, oh, that's his car number, so let's put a 12 next to it. And like you say, Logano's a great fantasy play, but it just doesn't make sense for those guys, especially in a sense that, and I've got the stat right here, Blaney's not won a race since the 2021 regular season finale. He's not won, and that was at Daytona. And then the week before that, he won at Michigan, which is a bigger track. He's not great on these tracks. Logano's got 2 wins in his last 77 races. And the 2 car that Cindric's driving, over the last 2 years, the only wins are on super speedway. So there's nothing there that I'd say, hey, 12-1, let's grab some of those Penske guys. Not this week. I think that's what opens the door for some of these longer shots that we'll get into. That's why I kind of hedge. I went a little bit with Truex, but 2 top 5s all year. Hamlin's got 1 top 10 all year, so I'm like, I don't see that happening. And then you got the Kyle Busch thing, who's sitting right there.
Well, he's the other one. I mean, it's like, you really trust Kyle Busch to win another race after just winning a couple of weeks ago, but he's been very good here. 13 top 5s in 33 races. He has 3 wins, but only 1 top 5 in his last 7.
And you look at on the spring race only, too. 1 top 10 in his last 7 in the spring race. He's better in the fall race. We don't have a fall race anymore. I feel like they took the spring race and they used it as a learning weekend for the fall. Well, he doesn't have that anymore. So you look at that, and it's like, and he's had some bad luck this year. I'm like, at 14-1, like, I don't see it. I just don't see it this year out of him. And he's already won at Bristol Dirt. So I'm like, they can be aggressive on some calls where there's better value to be had behind him rather than jumping on him now.
We have to come up with like a catchy catchphrase for this next 4: Chastain, Reddick, Briscoe, and Bell. You know, they're like that young, up and coming group of drivers that are just looking like, you know what? You know, maybe they've got something going, but Chastain has never performed well here. No. Reddick has been okay in Cup and Xfinity, but nothing great. Even though CJ just did put money on Reddick. Briscoe did not fare well at all here last year, but that's to be expected. First Cup at Dover. But he has 3 top 5s and a win in 5 Xfinity Series races. Christopher Bell has not fared well here, though, in 3 Cup races. No top 20s for Christopher Bell. So that's why this week I just passed on all of them.
I did too. I didn't trust them. I didn't trust Bell. Briscoe will be the only one out of those guys I take, just because I feel like he's been better on short tracks. He's been around, but is he going to win? Is he going to win over the? I just don't see him when he's got 2 teammates that I feel are better there, and you open the door for a Suarez. And you got the Hendrick camp. I was like, can he beat all of them? I don't see it happening.
But he's definitely. I agree. He's the better of these.
Good fantasy play.
Yeah, because let's keep in mind, even though they're not similar tracks, he did win at Phoenix.
He did. And he's been up front more times than not. I feel like he'll be in the hunt. I feel like he'll be a top 10 car. And out of those guys, like you said, like Chastain's coming off of a win. Can they really put his teammates much better at Dover, which we'll get to. Reddick's just, I feel like he'll just be there. He'll be a top 10, top 15. Is he going to beat, if you're going to have a Chevy car this weekend, again, can he beat Hendrick head-to-head? Because this is the type of track you're going to have to beat somebody. You're going to have more speed than somebody. You're not going to strategize your way and stay to the front. I just don't feel like he's got the speed. When you just mentioned the stats of the Hendrick guys, can he beat them head-to-head? I don't think so. Not at this track. So Briscoe in the Ford camp, I said it's the only one I'd say out of those guys that he's had success there in Xfinity. He knows how to get around there. So that would be the one.
As far as longest shots, Keselowski has 5 top 5s and just 1 win in 23 races. So even though he's 35-1, it just hasn't been going. Consistency just hasn't been there for Keselowski so far this year. It was, let's just say, consistency, obviously, in the top 10s. He was starting to put together a run of top 20s until last week. But again, Talladega's Talladega, still 35-1 to win the race. That's completely different. Kurt Busch at 50-1. Even though he has 9 top 5s and just 1 win in 42 races, no top 5s in the last 5. And he's only led 11 laps since his 2011 win. So you can forget about taking Kurt Busch this week. But now we get to some of the other deeper long shots that are more interesting. You mentioned Cindric. He's never raced in the Cup Series here, which is a negative flag at Dover in the Cup Series. But he does have 7 top 10s and 7 Xfinity Series races with 4 top 5s and a win. So he's really good at this track in the Xfinity Series. But he's never been here in the Cup Series. But the guy, the 2 that we liked are Suarez and Custer. Suarez, 5 top 10s in 9 races. Custer in 3 Cup races, 10th, 10th, and 11th. And in 6 Xfinity Series races, Custer has 4 top 5s and a win.
Yeah, and he's a great qualifier. If you look, remember this year, he's qualified towards the front. Martinsville, he had an issue on pit road. There's one more race. He qualified towards the front. So something happened. I feel like this week, if something, whatever that something doesn't happen, which it may not, you can't predict something happening, he's going to qualify up front. And like you said, he's had a great results there. I mean, a pair of top 10s as a rookie, 10th last year, Xfinity Series, he has 5 top 8s and 6 starts. 5th place in the trucks in 2016. You're giving him to me for 100-1.
100-1. I know.
Take it all day. Yeah. And then Suarez, his teammates got 2 wins. Suarez has been fast this year. He's just had some bad luck. But if you go to all 3 trucks, Xfinity, Cup, 17 starts at Dover, 13 top 11s, 5 of them in the top 3. He's won an Xfinity Series race there. And if you take 2 of those races that he didn't finish well, was with Gaunt Brothers in 2020. That team wasn't worth a damn. So you take 2 of those out. I counted it. So it's really, he's got 13 top 11s and 15 tries. And he's with an improved team that he had a top 10 at last year. And he's been a good qualifier. And you give him the 50-1. Like, I feel like those 2 can win this race. And the way this season's gone, I wouldn't be shocked. These are the 2 guys are the reason why I didn't go all in on Hendrick. Because if it wasn't for these 2 guys, I still would have punted on Harvick.
Sure.
But if you're going to pick these 2, you might as well throw Harvick in the bunch with them. But I feel like it's Hendrick versus Stewart-Haas and Suarez this week. And I just astonished that you're getting a Stewart-Haas guy for 100-1 right now.
Well, you better take it now before qualifying, because if they qualify in the top 10, that both of theirs,
he won't stay there. Yeah.
They're going to it'll be like 40-1 on Custer and 30-1 on Suarez.
Yep. This is the week that, and really too, like we talked on the IndyCar side, sometimes it's worth waiting. You bet the long shots before qualifying, and then you own in on your guy. But this week especially, I think you might want to – you could punt on Larson right now because I don't think he's going to – he may go to 4-1 or 3-1. That's not much of a difference. But his teammates, if they all qualify well, they won't be 9 or 10-1 for long. And if Suarez and Custer join them, they're not going to be 50 and 100-1. So those odds will greatly increase. You may be better off hoping Larson doesn't make it out of the first round of qualifying because he might go from 4-1 to 8-1. Then you jump on him. But for the long shots, those are the guys. Yeah, I could see them qualifying a lot. Those odds will change unless Custer somehow starts 30th, and I don't know why he would. Yeah. He's not staying at 100-1.
No. Yeah, this is definitely the week to just go ahead and put most of your money in before qualifying.
And Dylan, another one that people, I haven't had this in my article today. 50-1 people might like, oh, he's got 4 top 10s his last 5 weeks, 2 top 3s in his last 3. However, he's never had a top 5 at Dover before, and he only has 3 top 10s. So I would be a little leery on. He looks like that dangle sitting in front of you, the carrot thing in front of you, 50-1, but I don't trust with no top 5s ever at Dover to go from no top 5s to victory lane.
Sure.
I don't see it happening, but he's one I think will get some play at 50-1.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it because it's a track that, I mean, Eric Jones has a couple of top 10s and 9 tries, and obviously Jones is starting to pick things up, which is why CJ of all fantasy owners made a move. Mr. I don't make moves, made a move, and he gave up on Harrison Burton, as well he should, and picked up Eric Jones. So,
yep.
Eric Jones at 100-1.
And Eric Jones, I'll be curious what he does over this stretch. He mentioned, I think it was last week, short tracks, they've been off their game. They've been better at mile and a half. Kansas and Charlotte, this could be a big month for Eric Jones. It was a wise play to pick him up. I struggle to drop anybody in my fantasy team because on paper, I'm not going to drop Chastain. He's got 2 wins now. Almirola, you think, but he's my second leading scorer on my team. I'm like, you don't do that. That'd be an overreaction. I feel like Suarez can get a win this year. Logano, Hamlin, Larson, and Kurt. I'm like, do I drop any? There's none of those guys that I feel like are worthy. The minute I drop one of them, they're going to get hot. But
there's not really much. There's not. I mean, Derek Jones was really the only driver left.
He was. And then Harrison Burton now sitting there. I'm like, he's not going to outperform any of those guys yet. No. So there's really no movement now unless we make trades. But me and you've already made the one trade. I'm just like, out of my whole team, I feel like every one of them can be a playoff driver. But it's like, will they? I mean, Hamlin's got 1 top 10. Who would have thought that he's got to win, but it's his only top 10. And Larson down there at 130 points for it. It's like, okay, eventually it's going to.
Yeah, you have Larson and Hamlin and you're third in the fantasy standings. So you would
and
think
Logano.
that you'll make some ground up.
That's why I just keep holding out. It's like
you have to be patient.
You have to hold out another week. You do. You can't.
This season of all seasons.
That's why I thought was ironic that, like you said, CJ doesn't make any moves normally, and he's leading, he's beating us, and he made a move. Like that shows you how it's a twisted season right now.
Yeah.
That he actually made a move, and he's leading and everything. And you got for him, he's got Truex tied for second last for him for his point scores. So this could be a very good month for his team. I feel almost for him, he's going to maybe create some distance with. Kyle's good with tracks this month. I already talked about Byron. Elliott's been there. Truex, we'll see what Truex does. Dylan and Jones are kind of the sleeper guys that it's like, all right, now he may get to a point, me and you may have to start making trades and putting a sleeper team together or a super team together to catch him.
Right. Well, Bowman.
Luckily,
the thing is, though,
it's going to be the big point, the 600, the double points type races that we can close this gap.
Yep. Because he won the 500 with Cindric. Yeah.
That's the gap right now, as he's got that. Now, I think we got the 600 coming up next month.
Right.
That's going to be a big one. Now, granted, if he wins the 600.
Oh, yeah, we're screwed.
We're in some trouble.
Yeah. Okay, and by the way, you can check out all of our fantasy information, including all of our transactions, everything that we did to formulate our teams at racereviewonline.net. Same thing with our weekly picks and our futures, too. I haven't even gone over my futures yet. But as far as the futures, the thing is this is just a season, which has been great. I mean, there's just not a lot of movement. Unless the driver wins, there's really nothing. So it's good. Usually by now, we already have like a couple of drivers that are like 2-1 or 3-1, and then it doesn't move. And then if they win the championship, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's why I went back with Larson as my one because I have a feeling, which we see coming, which I thought he could easily win this week. He could easily win Darlington. We've seen how good he is there. He may be that guy that drops 2-1. I'm like, I'm going to cash in on him right now this month because I have a feeling that 4-1 can drop to 2-1 pretty quickly.
Larson?
So that's like, Yeah, I feel like he finished second at Darlington last year in that Darlington race. He was second, and then I got it right here. Yeah, he finished second there. Then you go to Kansas. He led the most laps in the spring race. He won the fall race. He's got 3 top 4s his last 6 Kansas starts. Then you go to 600, where he led basically the entire race last year, it seemed like, in the 600. And then you go to Gateway before you go to Sonoma, where, he won last year. Then you go to Nashville after Sonoma, where, he won last year. So Larson can really rattle. I feel like his 4-1 number, if he just does half of what he did last year, is probably going to drop to 2-1 pretty soon.
Could.
So my strategy now is like, I'm building that up right now, because once he drops to 2-1, then I got to focus with some other drivers. But
well, I guess the top driver that you're probably in the most issue with is William Byron.
Yep. He'd be the only one, but I still don't trust. The reason I've been avoiding, I just don't trust he's going to win a championship.
And you don't have any money on Bowman.
No, I don't feel. I kind of resigned to the fact early in the season, right? I even said this then, that I don't feel like they're ready to win a title yet. I feel like a title is it's almost like a grown-up title, like the NASCAR championship. Like it, I just don't feel like they're ready yet to win a championship. So I just don't feel like I'm going to put any money. Unless something changes, I don't know if I'm even going to put any money their way. I feel like I'm focusing on Larson. I feel like Elliott will eventually. I mean, hell, the guy won the 2020 championship, has not won a race on an oval since 2020, and he's leading the points standings. At some point, you got to think he's going to come out of this. So I feel like those are the guys I'm going to side with for now.
Yeah. We have all of our futures totals up there on the website as well at racereviewonline.net. And we just want to remind everybody to, if you have any questions or comments on the show, you can go ahead and leave them, and obviously in the comment section below. Please subscribe and like the video, because I know that we have a lot of people who have been watching these preview videos lately, so we're going to keep doing the best job that we can to provide you with the best information so you can make some money, obviously, for fantasy. And don't forget, you can go to the covers. Now, your covers article, is it the same information that you provide at racereviewonline.net or a completely different one?
It's a little different. It's a little more geared towards betting only, where my race review is race more. So I kind of say it's more geared towards betting. It's similar stats and stuff, but it's a little more geared towards the betting and because like my articles on the race review focuses on the season, focuses on top 5s, top 10. That's more geared towards betting, is like a matchups and stages and when to bet and who to bet, because you're looking at betting world as outright winner. I focus more there. Whereas so it's similar, but it's a little bit different.
And when is that available?
I send it over to them on Wednesday, so I think they put it up by Thursday or Friday.
Okay, and that is what? That's in the, what is it, an auto or?
It's under the auto racing advisor, auto racing. It's under their autos.
Autos.
Okay. Other autos. Yep.
And no IndyCar?
They're at Barber this week. And then they don't do IndyCar on covers until the 500. Probably not a lot of action people take on IndyCar till then, but I do have a 500 betting piece up on Race Review right now.
Okay.
After the test,
including the odds.
Yep. With the odds of who to bet on now after the test, who maybe to wait until you get to
the
month
shots?
Of May. But yeah, definitely some long shots on there right now that you can grab.
Okay.
It's here. I can pull it up. It's right on my homepage on Race Review. It's third one in. So it's a couple of long shots. Like Simon Pagenaud, to me, is the steal of the century. 25-1 right now. He went from Penske to Meyer Shank Racing. I know Castro Neves did that. He won the race last year. Meyer Shank proven they can win at Indy. He just won the race in 2019. He won the race in 2019. He was third last year. He's got 3 top 6 in his last 4 Indy starts with the team that won the 500 last year, and he's 25-1 right now.
Okay.
Okay. Takuma Sato, 3 top 3s his last 5 Indy 500s. He was second fastest in the test. 25-1 right now. Renus VK started front row last year. Was quick in the test. 30-1 right now. Juan Pablo Montoya going for his third win. 30-1 right now. Like, okay. This was the one where I wrote, you want to get on now. Ed Carpenter, 3 top 6 finishes, last 4. He's a strong qualifier at Indy. He's got 6 top 4 starting spots in his last 5 of the 6 are in the top 2 in the last 9 years. He's 40-1 right now. So, in qualifying, he's not going to stay at 40-1. He'll probably qualify towards the front. One of my other top ones, which is almost criminal, this guy's this way, 70-1. Our boy Santino Ferrucci, 7th in 2019, 4th in 2020, 6th last year. He's 3 for 3 in top 10s. He was in the top 10 near the speed charts in the test, 70-1. Might want to think about snagging him.
Hey, see?
And if you want to throw a little bit of action on a guy that's 150-1, he was 3rd fastest on Wednesday. He's a rookie. It's Callum Ilott. We've seen some F1 guys come over here, some ex-F1 guys, and quick early. He was 3rd fastest on Wednesday. He was in the top 20 in speeds on Thursday. He's 150-1 right now. So, again, throw a couple bucks his way. So, there's some good long ones. I mean, I think Jimmy Johnson, a little skeptical in 25-1, but he's got a shot to win this race. Talk to him. So, yeah, there's some good long shots right now you can jump on right now.
So, take about $20-$30, invest it in those long shots at this point.
Yep. Yeah, because like an example, like I wrote, wait till later, Joseph Newgarden right now, 7-1. Granted, quickest in the test. He's won 2 straight races. Here's the thing. He only has 2 top 5 starting spots in 10 Indy 500 tries. The last 2 years, 13th and 21st. He's 7-1. So if he qualifies outside the top 10, he's not going to stay 7-1. He'll probably drop to 10 or 11-1. Then you grab him. But right now it's 7-1. I don't know if I take him. Alex Palou, he was 14-1 last year and finished 2nd. They got him at 7-1 right now. Maybe wait until you get closer to time. Pato Award, he's 10-1. Granted, you might think, hey, 6th and 4th is 2 Indy 500. 10-1, I'll grab him. Wait, 15 and 12th is his 2 qualifying spots. He's not a great qualifier here. 10-1 will probably come back to you if he starts 10th or worse. Odds are he will. Grab him at those later. So I've got that kind of stuff in this article. Maybe wait till later. Here's why. Maybe bet now. Here's why. And maybe just avoid these guys altogether. Here's why. That's all up right now on racereviewonline.net.
And what does normal favorite usually go off at? Like 5-1?
Dixon was like 4-1 last year. Usually it's 7 or 8-1. But because Dixon was literally quickest, and it felt like every practice session last year, won the pole. I think they just felt like you got to put the guy there. He didn't win, so that's why I said some of these guys before they start getting qualifying better, they may drop. Get them now. Some of these guys that are, like I said, the Josephs or the Patos of the world that are 7-1, they may not qualify well. Odds are they won't. Grab them when they don't qualify well. Pageant at 25-1, that's almost criminal. He's not going to be there long. Elio qualified row 3 last year and won the race as that team. So Elio's back with his car. This is the teammate to that car. Simon's a good qualifier here. He's probably going to make the fast. I almost said Fast 9. There's an announcement coming today. So it's not going to be the Fast 9 anymore. That's coming. He'll qualify up front, I'll say. So
okay, it's
coming.
And how many practices between now and the race? When does it start picking up?
For the 500? May. So they have the road course race here probably May 14th, whatever that Saturday is. And I think the Derby's the 7th, correct?
Yes.
So it'll be the 14th is the road course race. So they're all 15th, 16th. So it'd be the 17th, that Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 4 practices. Then they qualify.
So they're not going to practice
Sunday.
until then?
Nope, nothing. You'll have nothing on track. That's why now is relevant to grab these guys. You pretty much have until then. I don't know why the odds would change much based off this weekend in Barber or the road course race, because they're road courses. There's nothing you can take from there for the Oval.
Okay.
So you got a little bit of time, but while they are where they are, that's why I'd grab them now.
And we'll post your preview, the Alabama, correct?
Correct.
We'll preview that we did. What was it, about 2 weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago. Yeah.
So we'll post that in the next couple of days in case you missed it, because it's edited into the press conference. What was it? The last race press conference?
Long Beach. Yep, it was Long Beach, and we did it after that. And then
so we'll post.
And then the reason we won't do an early one for Indy is I'll be there. We can do it on the live.
Yeah,
we can do a live one there. So
sounds good.
Instead of pre-recording that one, we'll just do it literally from the track.
Yeah, that'll work. Take advantage as much as we can while you're live at Indianapolis for basically
that pagoda. Will be a pagoda behind me.
Yeah.
We'll have a little more scenic other than a wall.
Yeah,
we'll have a pagoda and some trees, and hopefully I don't get stung by a bee like I did one time over there. That just mind my own business and I get stung by a bee. But my new residence for the May would be.
Do you have anybody else like in your vicinity when you're doing that?
I have. That year I did it because it was 2020. Nobody was there.
Okay.
I remember, but yeah, I usually do it back behind Pagoda Plaza, so you at least can get a visual going on where I can at least talk and you can hear me. So I'm not too close to the pits or sitting in the media center whispering. So at least you get.
And if there's any, and again, as we said, if anybody has any specific locales in the racetrack on site
let me know.
You would like Eric to go, just let us know.
I'll do it.
Say, hey, Eric, check this place out. And
got the full rings. Yep.
You're gonna. We'll have that. We'll have a separate report for that as well. So we'll post that up. So we'll have a whole bunch of different, like a library of your travels at the Speedway for, again, what is it? 3 weeks basically.
Yeah, basically 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, basically. The week after the Derby is the road course starts. So I'll be on. Can go anywhere you want then, and then practice starts the week after that.
Sounds good. Well, we're gonna
for the oval, I should say.
We're gonna take advantage, no question. So, looking forward to it. Next week. What's next week?
Darlington.
Okay. I guess we'll find out how that goes. Darlington, and then Kansas.
Darlington, Kansas. And then Kansas. Well, you got Darlington and the Derby, so maybe we can coexist with horsepower.
Why is it a Saturday night? No, it's not Saturday night, is it?
Sunday.
Oh, it is Sunday.
Derby Saturday, Darlington Sunday.
And no, we don't have any night races until like Coke 600, right?
Yep, that'd be the next one. Well, they got the All-Star race coming up, but at Texas.
That's right, the All-Star race. That's
All-Star race. Whatever they.
That's what, before Charlotte?
Yeah, the week before.
Okay.
So between Kansas and Charlotte.
Oh, Texas. Why did they had the All-Star race there last year?
Yeah, it's because they took that second date. They used that, so they basically we'll take this date.
I didn't even remember that.
But we'll give you. It was kind of boring. What you expect? Remember they did like 7 stages. It seemed like they pit every like 15 laps, and it was the same. Kyle Larson won.
Are they going to do the same thing this year?
They haven't announced the format yet. They usually switch it every year, but
Texas.
Yeah, that's Indy qualifying weekend, so we'll have.
Why would they pick Texas though this year?
Because they own SMI owns the All-Star.
Come on, just ridiculous. Now they're not even going to go there again until the playoff race, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Whatever. Anyway, all right. So Eric, we will talk to you again next week when we recap Dover and preview Darlington. So again, racereviewonline.net. Check that out. You could also check out covers. And as we mentioned, we'll post the preview of this weekend's, this Sunday. Sunday, it's an Indy race, right? It's a Sunday. Is it back to back? Is it Alabama and then we go right into Dover?
Yeah, different networks. So yeah, 1:00 is Barber, and then I think NASCAR is like 3:30.
That's good.
So IndyCar is on NBC, NASCAR is on Fox.
That's cool when they do that, even though.
Yep, I do. Wish they're on the same station, but they don't do that until second half of the year.
That would make a little bit more sense. But all right, sounds good, Eric. We'll talk to you next week.
Awesome, sounds good.